So hello, I'm the Mary Lady, and this video blog is to help those who desperately need to expedite the marriage certificate process for reasons such as immigration, deportation, and other really important issues. I'm offering this information as of November 27th, 2017. This is information that I've gathered, but I'm not an authority on it. Really, I've gathered this information because I am an officiant and I get asked this all the time. This is what I've worked out. It may change, and if it does, feel free to leave comments at the bottom of this video blog. I'm happy to continue to combine all the information we can find to make this really complicated process a little more coherent. Okay, so what I've done is I've made notes based on talking to Service Ontario and the clergy support line at Thunder Bay, where the Registrar's office is, where the marriage certificate and licenses actually get processed. Okay, so typically a marriage license gets sent from the officiant to Thunder Bay, and at that point it takes several weeks to process it, and after that you can apply for a marriage certificate. And that certificate is what is used for immigration purposes to get your immigration papers done. And it can take a long time, a very long time. It can take anywhere from 12 to 15 weeks. So often what people do is they look for a process to expedite that process so it can go quicker. So in the case of urgency, here is what I've pulled together could possibly be your options. So according to Service Ontario, the recommendations that I've been giving and that they suggested are the proper advice to give to couples. When you come to your marriage officiant, you're going to bring your license that you get from City Hall. You're also going to bring a letter stating your urgency for expediting your marriage license. You need the license actually processed in the system for everything to get started. It's a first step. Marriage license, get it processed quickly. So what they recommend is that you come to your officiant with a prepaid express post envelope, your marriage license, and the letter stating urgency. And that way, the officiant can pull all that information together and send it off with your marriage license. The officiant has to send off the marriage license. Legally, we have to do that ourselves. So the registrar in Thunder Bay will get the express post envelope in a day or two. They typically receive over 1,000 of these every day. So it'll take them 1 to 2 weeks before they get it processed. When they receive your letter of urgency, though, they said it helps because if City Hall has made any errors on the actual marriage license when they receive it, or if they have to send it back to the officiant for any reasons, that way they take care of it very quickly, understanding that this is an urgent matter. Okay, so they receive it, they process it, let's say 1 to 2 weeks. After 1 to 2 weeks, you want to go online to Service Ontario, not Service Canada, Service Ontario, and request your marriage certificate. So when I marry people, after I've married them, I typically send them a link to go online to request that marriage certificate. But you can find it online, Service Ontario marriage certificate application. Okay? The reason this is good is that once you've applied online, your application will provide you with an order or tracking number to find out where you are in the process of getting your actual marriage certificate. And the reason Service Ontario has recommended this, it's fast, but once you actually have your order number, when you've applied for your marriage certificate online, they'll give you an order number, and you can actually use that number to phone a 1-800 number to find out where it is in the queue, but also to find out where to fax another letter of urgency, because you can't attach it with your online application. You have to fax it in. So what they recommend is that you call 1-800-461-2156 to inquire into your marriage license processing and next steps for getting your certificate, but also to find out if you do have if you do have a situation of urgency, when you call that number, tell them what it is, and they can perhaps give you, by the sounds of it, various fax numbers to send that letter off to. And what I think is happening is that if it's a letter of like, it's kind of urgency, fax it to this number. If it's you're being deported in this moment, fax it to this number. So I think they may have different levels of urgency in different departments to deal with it in that way. The fax number, which they typically give out, is 807-343-7284. There is a place in Toronto, one Service Ontario in Toronto. This has led to a lot of confusion for people who are trying to go through the system quickly. It's at 47 Shepherd Avenue East, Unit 417, 4th floor, Toronto, Ontario. It's the only location that accepts emergency service applicants. And what that means, it doesn't mean that location will be able to process your license or give you a certificate. What they do, the only places that can do that, Thunder Bay, the Office of the Registrar. But what they can do is they take your proof of urgency, they take an additional $30, and they can help you because they'll provide, they'll fax the information for you, so you get it done for free. The other thing that she said that they'll do is that basically it's a good service if you don't have a credit card. So in order to apply for your marriage certificate online, you need to include a credit card on the online application. So what'll happen is if you go to that 47 Shepherd Avenue location, they will take Interact, or they'll take money order or other forms of payment, and they'll process online your application for you. So that's what the benefits are. There also is the situation where if there is a deportation happening and you need the certificate immediately, they can also help with that. In those extreme situations, you'll want to go to that office to get that done. Otherwise, I think it's easier just to fax it from wherever you are instead of going all the way up to Shepherd, depending where you are in the city, and to borrow someone's credit card. You don't have to make the trek up there if you just have a general urgency request. And so on my blog, themarryinglady.com, I do provide a sample letter of what you can fill in when you are faxing your letter of urgency off to request your marriage certificate. A lot of that same content can go in the first letter of urgency, which you would give to your officiant. So just to recap all of this, if you want to expedite the process for getting your marriage certificate, there are 2 steps. Number 1, expedite your marriage license getting processed by providing your officiant with your marriage license, a letter of urgency, an express post envelope. That goes off 2 weeks later. You're going to request your marriage certificate online. When you request it online, send it out there. Take note of the tracking number, the order number. Phone that 1-800 number, and I'll put it at the bottom of this video blog, and find out where to fax your letter of urgency. Go onto my blog, copy the letter of urgency off the blog, fill it out, fax that. Okay, I hope that helps. If it changes, let me know. I try to keep this updated so I can be as helpful as possible, and good luck. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.